myself. Oh no, give me that sound. Oh, I gotta go like Cobain. 8 years to the grave, gone insane. My blood got propane. How you gon' go and throw my name with shame? Already cross-faded, making it to the disco. I hate it, and you know how this goes. You framed it, picture painted in my room. This that real life shit. None of Zoom got the scene in it.
Make sure you subscribe to JerCrispy.
What's up, y'all? It's host there's the most JerCrispy. Welcome back to that video. The night, serious night, found out how dangerous Ice Cube was. If I say that wrong, then oh well. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media. It's gonna pop on the screen, and let's see what's going on. I supposed to been watch this, but I just recently found it on the like list, so let's get it.
A lot of people see Ice Cube as just a gangster rapper, but it turns out he really lived that life. And Suge Knight was one of the people who found out firsthand.
Suge Knight.
I mean, this was the same Ice Cube that was not afraid to throw hands at a public convention. Anyway, from going toe-to-toe with Suge in a fist fight.
Did you really see Suge and Ice Cube fight?
Also, I see a ruckus, and I just see, Cube's throwing his fist. He wasn't punking out at all.
To openly speaking his mind about how he really felt about him.
If he didn't know he got poked, then the conspiracy lives on.
Would you put it past
I don't
Suge?
put as nobody.
Cube never backed down. Let's dive in. Ice Cube versus Suge Knight. It's no secret that Suge Knight was once known as the boogeyman of hip-hop. Artists weren't just afraid of him, they were downright terrified.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified of Suge Knight.
Right.
I mean,
What if I did Suge Knight? I would not be scared of a nigga named Suge Knight. Wait, what did he did to niggas to make that nigga scary or some shit? Nigga would have niggas fucking coming out of nowhere, a dark alleyway, said, "Get them, boys." Like, nigga, fuck out my face.
I know. No.
I don't know who Suge Knight is.
But Ice Cube wasn't one of them.
I know Ice Cube. I've been on Ice Cube. I listen to Ice Cube music. But Suge Knight, I don't know who that nigga is. Who is that? Nigga must not be that famous. Must be.
While plenty of people have doubted Cube's...
Now watch how an old head about to come type of, "Oh my God, your young age and generations is blah, 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 blah." Nigga, what? What are we talking about? Nigga, I grew up listening to Tupac, Boosie, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, freaking Eazy-E. And then I grew in with my other stuff like NBA Youngboy, Baby Smooth, and all the other people that, fall on into that stuff. So don't tell me I don't know music. Nigga, I know music.
Great credibility over the years, saying he was just a rapper playing the role of a gangster. The truth is, he was one of those who got lucky enough to make it out. Ice Cube himself has shared stories that prove just how close he was to that lifestyle. One incident he talked about involved a local guy who was deep into drugs. The man showed up at Cube's house one day, spinning lies to his mother just to get some money, and she actually gave him $20.
Was heavy on drugs, went around to my house and gave my mother some cockamamie story, so she gave him $20.
That sent Cube over the edge. Furious, he and a friend grabbed their guns and went straight to the guy's house, fully intending to kill him. But when they got there, the man wasn't home.
And I was so mad. You violated me and my family. Me and my friends was going around the corner to kill him. And he wasn't home, so thank God.
Yeah.
Looking back, Cube admitted that was a blessing in disguise because if that guy had been home, things would have gone very differently. In his own words, he wouldn't be the Ice Cube we know today.
We were young and we was mad and we had a weapon and it was gonna happen. So it would have been stupid and I wouldn't be sitting here if it did happen.
A major reason Cube was able to get off the streets was his father. Unlike a lot of his peers, Cube had a strong father figure who helped steer him in the right direction. That influence, along with the opportunities he found in music, allowed him to walk away from that life.
We grew up in a pretty tough neighborhood, but nobody was tougher than
I'm glad everybody at least got a father figure or a mother figure in their life or a grandparents figure. to listen to what they have to say and don't be one of those type of guy. I can't listen to what they say. And like the 9 out of 10 of people who don't listen to their parents end up jail, homeless, or broke, scamming other dudes, trying to, or number 4, snaking their own homies for some money. You don't want to be none of those fourth listers I just list.
It was a sense of security.
But just because he left the streets didn't mean he lost his backbone, and that's exactly why even Suge Knight, the most feared man in hip-hop, had to face Cube head-on.
Who the fuck is
DJ
Suge Knight?
Premier once shared a story about witnessing Cube and Suge squaring up. This was right after Cube had left NWA, and Suge was already building his reputation as the industry's most dangerous man. But according to Premier, Cube wasn't backing down at all.
Did you really see Suge and Ice Cube fight?
Also, I see a ruckus, and I just see, you know, Cube's throwing his fist. He wasn't punking out at all.
That alone says a lot because at the time, Suge had everyone in the game shook. This was a guy who didn't just make threats, he followed through. He was extorting artists, surrounding himself with—
Dude, Suge look like he should be somebody's security guard. Bro, yeah. What the fuck are we talking about? Not no disrespect. Ain't no disrespect to the nigga. I don't even know the nigga like that, to be honest with you. On some real nigga shit. But like, Suge body's built like this nigga look like he should be somebody fucking security guard. Not no rapper.
Real gangsters and literally terrorizing his enemies.
Suge Knight is a mythical figure.
The controversial CEO of Death Row Records. The most feared figure in all of hip-hop.
His size was intimidating.
Knight had been on probation for a 1992 assault on 2 aspiring rappers.
Just ask Jerry Heller and he'll tell you exactly what kind of fear Suge could instill. Heller, who was one of the most infamous figures in NWA's history, once called Suge pure evil.
You look at Suge Knight as an infection?
Well, Suge Knight is just evil. And that's what evil does.
And he had every reason to. During the whole Dr. Dre contract dispute, Mob James, one of Suge's top enforcers at the time, said that when they pulled up demanding Dre's release from Ruthless Records, Jerry Heller was frozen in fear. He was stuck in his chair, unable to move.
So you're not even in the room?
No.
So, but Jerry's in the room with this big Suge Knight guy.
Just them two. Suge got a check out of him, and he got Dre's.
But that wasn't even the worst part. Shortly after that confrontation, Heller's house was broken into. A bunch of his stuff was stolen, but what really sent chills down his spine was the message that was spray painted on his mirror.
Your house was vandalized. Your life was threatened.
Right.
What were some of the incidents that, I mean, didn't you come home one time and found out that your house was broken into?
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff missing, and on the wall was spray painted, on the mirror in one of the bedrooms was spray painted, "Payback's a motherfucker, Jerry," or "Payback's a bitch, Jerry." You know, one of those things.
Nobody could prove it was Suge's doing, but Heller was convinced. That incident left him completely paranoid. He became so jumpy that even just hearing Suge's name was enough to send him into a panic.
What the fuck?
You know, I always felt that that Suge had something to do with it.
Albert Hughes, one of the Hughes brothers who directed Menace to Society, once said that he casually mentioned Suge's name to Jerry as a joke. Jerry's response was to pull out a gun on Albert's brother, just from sheer paranoia. That's how much fear Suge had put into him.
Because we had big mouths and we would say what was on our mind. We said something to Jerry, but it was all in jest. And he literally pulls out a 25 and points it at my brother.
A gun?
Like, yeah, like,
really?
What you say? What you say?
And Heller was just one of many who got caught up in Suge's wrath. Suge had an entire industry under his thumb, but again, Ice Cube was built differently. Unlike so many others, Cube wasn't someone Suge could just intimidate into submission. In fact, Cube has had his fair share of serious beefs over the years. Above the Law. Take his beef with Above the Law, for example. After Cube left NWA, Eazy-E signed the gangster rap group Above the Law, who repped Pomona. Naturally, they inherited the beef.
Me and Cube had some issues. He disrespected Pomona. Me and him got into a head-up scrap. Spilled over to the New Music Seminar.
Tensions started heating up in 1990 while the group was promoting their debut album, Livin' Like Hustlers. During an LA Times interview that April, group member Gomack threw some shade at Cube, questioning his street credibility.
We had an interview with LA Times, what signatures y'all music and everything. So like we talk about like, you know, what we really was involved with or our colleagues.
He claimed that Cube's hardcore lyrics weren't really based on his own life, but were actually inspired by their lifestyle.
You know, like Ice Cube that went away to college and come back and act like this big time gangster in NWA, which at the time that's what he was.
Damn, but how you knew all that shit? Like his name was like based off of y'all lifestyle though. Now, like how you knew that though? Like niggas should be saying anything when they be trying to beef with somebody, I swear. And some of y'all be, y'all be along with it. Y'all just be trying to rage baiting and commenting and all that stuff. Mind you, this back in the day. So back in the day stuff, yeah, you can drop a diss, but you see, you can catch that nigga on site. Catch these niggas in alleyways and shit like that and clubs and all that shit. This ain't like, you know, you go on Instagram, find a nigga, make a fake page, find where he be at and all that stuff. No, them niggas was dead ass Loken and fucking searching for a nigga.
He was a dude that was really sharp with the pen. He was kind of a schoolboy, you know. Never hustled the street, never banged in the streets.
Cube didn't take the insult too seriously, but he didn't let it slide either. He fired back with a slick response. New Jacks from Pomona should only talk about the 10 freeway, referencing the highway that ran through their city.
LA Times wanted to reply to that. On the interview, he said New Jack from Pomona should only talk about the freeway because that's the only thing that's going through that mother.
When the interview dropped, Eazy-E wasted no time stirring the pot. He called up Cold 187, the leader of Above the Law, and asked, "Did you read the paper?" Once 187 saw it, he was heated.
Eazy-E called me. He said, "Hey man, did you get the LA Times?" I said, "No, man, you gotta see it." He laughing on the phone. He's a big joke, so he laughing. Ah! So I get it. I read the statement.
He told Eazy straight up that he was going to put hands on Cube. Eazy tried to talk him down, but 187 wasn't trying to hear it.
I called E back and said, "I'm your boy up." You know, as soon as I see, "Oh, cuz, don't be tripping." I said, "Man."
We are not a traditional cafe. We're completely unconventional. And my Wix website really has to capture the same magic.
That shit I like.
Real, homie.
As fate would have it, he didn't have to wait long to see Cube in person. The same night, April 7th, 1990, Above the Law was headlining a show at the Anaheim Celebrity Theater, and Cube was backstage doing a magazine interview. In the hallway, he and 187 crossed paths and exchanged a few words, but nothing popped off right away.
So he come, made a meet up in the hallway, said, "What's up that said newspaper? You trying to play me like a bust or something, homie?" Like, oh, you a dude. Like I said, "What's happening? You want to get down?"
That changed when Cube later stepped into Above the Law's dressing room and confronted 187 at the doorway. That was all it took. Just like that, a fight broke out.
So he come back into my dressing room and say, "What's up?" As soon as he say, "What's up?" I give him to him a 2-piece hot one. Boom, he fall through the door.
It was a rough brawl, but Cube wasn't backing down. He held his own and didn't let 187 get the best of him. The fight eventually ended, but the tension didn't.
So Cube didn't back down either.
No, he didn't. He didn't back down. He got socked out, but he didn't back down. He got socked out, but he didn't back down.
By this point, Cube wasn't rolling solo anymore.
Okay, with the whole time that the role reversed, and that was him getting pushed through the door, and his homeboy didn't want to say that shit. It could be like that though, cause niggas could be saying in an interview, "Yeah, that nigga, I thought that nigga out." Yeah, I thought that nigga out, and then your homeboy like this, looking at you like that, but you know.
More. After leaving NWA, he built his own squad, the Lynch Mob. These weren't just rappers, they were activists, street dudes, and the kind of people you didn't want problems with.
And when we get to New York, so all the stuff going around the seminars like, "Oh yeah, the Lynch Mob here, and they got issues, whatever, right?"
So when Cube and Above the Law ran into each other again at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square for the 1990 New Music Seminar, it didn't take long for things to get violent again.
We see each other going to a panel, right? And we face off right in the middle of the seminar, and we get down. And all hell broke loose.
This time, Cube had stepped away to speak on a panel, but his crew was still around. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and before long, another fight broke out between the Lynch Mob and Above the Law.
Cube was nowhere around. Nowhere around. We tore that whole floor up.
It was a serious brawl, but by the end of it, Cube's side had made their point. After that, Cube didn't seem too bothered anymore. He had reinforced that he wasn't to be messed with. Common. Then there's his beef with Common. On September 27th, 1994, a young Common Sense dropped a track that would go on to make hip-hop history and stir up some serious drama. The song I Used to Love Her was a standout single from his second album, Resurrection, using the metaphor of a girl Common had fallen for to represent his love for hip-hop. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that this girl is hip-hop itself. The track was a hit, especially with a picky East Coast rap crowd who hadn't been all that impressed with Common's first album, Can I Borrow $1?
I met this girl when I was 10 years.
Don't put this song on because I'm not trying to get copyrighted. So don't do this shit again or your ass gonna get beat the fuck up. Real nigga shit.
Crowd was vibing with Common storytelling, not everyone was feeling the love. The song paints a picture of hip-hop's evolution, from its pure beginnings to its transformation into a more commercialized and gangsta-influenced style. It was a reflection on how hip-hop had changed, but that didn't sit well with Ice Cube. To him, it sounded like a jab at the West Coast's dominance of the genre during the 90s.
I created I Used to Love It in 1994.
Turn that shit down. Can't hear that beat. You be cracking too hard on that shit.
Evolution of hip hop and the stages that I seen hip hop go from just the pure innocence.
He talking about this girl that he was in love with. You know, she's supposed to be hip hop. He's so in love with her, but when she go out here, she get.
Things came to a head when
Hey,
Common
he ain't lying though. Cause girls do be, you'll think that your girl, whole time she messing with another nigga. He ain't lying.
Grapevine that Ice Cube had responded.
King T from the West Coast. And somebody said, yo, Cube dissed you on this song. So we playing the song and I'm listening. I'm like, damn, this dissing me.
The verse King T was talking about was Ice Cube's contribution to Mac 10's track, West Side Slaughterhouse, featuring Cube and WC. Common decided to fire back with a diss track, and that's how the B in U was born. Common came out swinging with lines like went from gangsta to Islam to the D of Das FX, calling out Cube for pandering to the East Coast, only to turn against it later.
Line on your said you was.
Turn that shit off, cause I'm not trying to get copyrighted. Don't ever put that shit on once again.
He even dug deeper with hypocrite. I'm filling out your death certificate, slinging bean pies and St. Ides in the same sentence.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Accusing Cube of being at odds with the values of the Nation of Islam.
That nigga Kevin Gates. I love my nigga Kevin Gates.
While promoting straight line.
Hold up. On my camera at? That's, they getting some good ass thumbnails right there. That's Trap Plus. We might need to start keep watching that nigga Trap Plus in this bitch. Hold up, cuz they got some fucking good shit going on. Yeah, hold up.
Life.
To take the nation in millions to hold you.
Oh wait, no, that is what the fuck.
Back from giving you mouth shots or hit.
And to end it all, Common delivered the ultimate mic drop by using Ice Cube's own lyrics against him. In the immortal words of one, a B is a B.
Any last.
Come on, cuz, bro.
Unfamiliar territory. He had long been known as one of the most ruthless diss track artists in the game. His scathing takedown of NWA with No Vaseline was already legendary, and his reputation as someone you didn't mess with was solidified. As Doug Infinite put it, if you're going to come at Cube lyrically, you better come with it, or he's going to body you. So I think Com felt that way, being the lyricist that he is. Ice Cube later admitted that he had written a response track to fire back at Common, but fate intervened before it could escalate.
I had a record, man, that was a killer. And then we ended up having this summit with Farrakhan.
Oh.
He helped us squash it. He helped us squash it, so I just never did my record.
You recorded it?
No, I had the lyrics.
The deaths of Tupac Shakur in 1996 and the Notorious B.I.G. in 1990.
R.I.P. to Tupac, bro. Damn, the most greatest artist of we talking about beef wisely, son. That nigga #1 in the songs right there. And I say, everybody, hey, Youngboy gotta be #2, and Kendrick Lamar Meet the Grounds. Gotta be 3. That's top 5 right there. That's top 3 right there. Just keep it real with you.
97 had cast a dark shadow over the hip-hop world. On April 3rd, 1997, less than a month after Biggie's tragic death, Farrakhan organized a peace summit at the Nation of Islam's headquarters in Chicago. It was a historic gathering, bringing together some of the most prominent figures in hip-hop, including Common and Ice Cube. NWA. Next up is the infamous feud between Ice Cube and NWA. As most fans know already, Ice Cube left NWA in 1989 over money issues. He felt he wasn't being paid enough for all the writing he did on the Straight Outta Compton album, and that led to an ugly fallout. This beef got so intense that it even dragged in people who had nothing to do with their business. One notable example is Dee Barnes, a presenter on the Fox TV show Pump It Up, which covered hip-hop culture and often featured big-name rappers. Dee's name even came up years later in Eminem's song Guilty Conscience, where he referenced Dr. Dre's attack on her. But let's look at how Dee got caught in the middle. By the time the Ice Cube drama kicked off, Dee had already interviewed NWA several times. She was familiar with the whole crew and had covered them on her show for years.
Ice Cube of NWA will be hanging out with him and all his homies at his house.
We'll be back after these commercials or breaks or cuts or whatever.
Whatever. Don't go anywhere.
But once Cube left, things shifted. NWA responded by dissing him hard on their track 100 Miles and Runnin', making it clear they weren't just going to let him walk away quietly. According to Dee Barnes herself, when she got the group back on Pump It Up to talk about their latest moves, the energy was tense from the start. Every question she asked led to a jab at Ice Cube, and it got so heated that the production team had to edit out some of the harsher parts just to make the interview airable. But here's where things took a turn. When the episode finally aired, it included not only the NWA interview, but also another clip filmed earlier on the set of Boys in the Hood with Yo-Yo, who was Ice Cube's friend and collaborator. Unexpectedly, Ice Cube crashed the interview and took the opportunity to diss NWA, using their own lyrics to throw shade right back at them. To make matters worse, Cube even made fun of the DOC, who was close to Dr. Dre and had recently suffered a car accident that permanently damaged his voice.
Cube gon' pump it up. I got all suckers 100 miles and one.
There's somebody, I don't even know who was that calling me, but I'm gonna call him back right after this. We almost done with it.
For the record, even at the time, Dee Barnes said she didn't think they should air that segment, but as just a presenter, she didn't have the final say over the edit. Unfortunately, the final edit sensationalized the story by playing the two clips back to back. After Ice Cube's interview aired, Dee turned to the camera and mentioned that she's always in the middle of controversy.
Dee always in the middle of controversy right here on Pump It Up.
This was likely a reflexive response to an awkward situation, but in the edit, it looked like she was stoking the flames, encouraging the beef between Ice Cube and NWA, and positioning herself right in the middle of it. After the interview fiasco, some time went by, but Dr. Dre and Dee Barnes eventually crossed paths again. At a Def Jam Records party, a drunken Dr. Dre spotted Dee Barnes. Still furious about how the interview had been presented, he flew into a blind rage. According to Rolling Stone reporter Alan Light, in an article called Beating Up the Charts, Dre picked her up by her hair and began slamming her head and the right side of her body repeatedly against a brick wall near the stairway. His bodyguard held off the crowd with a gun, ensuring no one could intervene. Dre then tried to throw her down the stairs but failed. Undeterred, he began kicking her in the ribs and hands. Dee managed to escape and ran into the women's restroom, but Dre followed her, grabbed her from behind by the hair again, and proceeded to punch her in the back of the head.
Damn.
They grabbed me by my hair.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story.
Damn, bro. I don't condone a woman beating, but damn, she ain't have to talk about that man. Dude, almost dying with that car accident too.
Started slamming me up against the wall. It's a painful and traumatic experience.
The vicious attack didn't go unnoticed. Members of NWA openly discussed the incident in subsequent interviews. MC Ren bluntly stated she deserved it. Eazy-E echoed the sentiment, saying, "Yeah, B had it coming." Dr. Dre himself was unapologetic, saying, "People talk all this ish, but you know, somebody F with me, I'm gonna F with them. I just did it, you know? Ain't nothing you can do now by talking about it. Besides, it ain't no big thing. I just threw her through a door."
That's what she get. I hope she get it again. She got beat down. The host of that show did something that she know what she did and got beat down, and I hope it happened again.
D-Boys
Damn.
tried to sue Dr. Dre for $22.75 million, but the case was settled out of court. Cypress Hill. Next up was his feud with Cypress Hill. The drama started with the Friday movie soundtrack, which Ice Cube curated. One of the standout tracks on the album was Roll It Up, Light It Up, Smoke It Up, a Cypress Hill song. The group had agreed to contribute that track, but according to Be Real, a member of Cypress Hill, the real problem began when Ice Cube heard another song during their studio session. While listening to tracks for the movie, Ice Cube got a sneak peek of Cypress Hill's upcoming album, Temples of Boom. They played him Throw Your Set in the Air, their lead single. Cube loved the song and wanted it for the Friday soundtrack instead. Cypress Hill politely declined since it was the title track for their upcoming project.
You know, we play him the song and he likes it. He goes, yeah, that's perfect, you know. Me and Muggs ask him, hey.
Oh, wow, you should have dropped the album early and let him use it. Then, boom, it would have been like that. That niggas don't think like that. But, you know, back in the day, every nigga was trying to get popular off their music shit, so,
We got
yeah.
a couple of tracks from the album. You want to hear it?
We played him a song called Throw Your Set in the Air. And he was like, oh, that's banging. Can I get that for the movie instead?
They're like, man, we'd love to give it to you, but, you know, this is going to be the single on our album.
Cube pressed a bit, even asking them to play it again. They did, but they stood firm that the track was off limits. Fast forward to the release of the Friday soundtrack, which came out shortly before Temples of Boom. A friend of B Real's heard one of the songs on the soundtrack and immediately called him, saying, "Did you let Ice Cube use one of your album tracks for Friday?" Confused, B Real explained that they had only given Cube Roll It Up, Light It Up, Smoke It Up, but the friend wasn't talking about that track. He was referring to something that sounded suspiciously like Throw Your Set in the Air. Skeptical at first, B Real listened to Cube's track and his heart sank. The hook sounded eerily similar to their song, with only minor tweaks to the lyrics.
The Throw Your Set in the Air thing. I said, no, we didn't give him that. He goes, well, you know, that is in his chorus in his song.
Feeling betrayed, B Real aired his frustrations to the studio, and word quickly got back to Ice Cube through Mac 10. Cube, trying to address the situation, called B Real to hash things out. He claimed it was all a misunderstanding and the matter died down. Then Ice Cube later invited B Real to the studio to record a guest vocal for Caution, a group signed to Lynch Mob Records. During the session, B Real heard a few lines from a song that sounded almost identical to lyrics from Temples of Boom. He couldn't believe it. Was Cube trying to lift from them again? B Real noticed that Cube seemed to pick up on his reaction because when he stepped out of the room and came back, the lines had been removed. To B Real, this was proof that Cube had been caught red-handed once more.
And I heard a couple lines that were the same things I used on the Temple of Boom record. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, that's my line.
This was the tipping point for Cypress Hill. B Real went back to his crew, told him what happened, and they decided it was time to take action. The group released No Rest for the Wicked, a scathing diss track aimed squarely at Ice Cube, and what followed was a back-and-forth exchange of diss tracks between them. The beef between Ice Cube and Cypress Hill grew deeper as both fans and artists began taking sides. Tensions in the Los Angeles rap scene were already high, and this feud only added fuel to the fire. Around the same time, Ice Cube was dealing with another issue involving LA artists Cam and Solo, who were caught up in a business feud with him. Things came to a head when Cube and Solo crossed paths at a Los Angeles traffic light. According to Solo, the encounter quickly turned physical. He claimed to have...
But would you get mad at somebody using your lyrics, though, on another lyrics? I mean, a lot of people use the same lyrics nowadays, and nobody have a problem. But back then, if you using somebody else's lyrics and shit like that, I understand it, because that's your lyric. You craft that, you learned, you thought about that, now somebody else think about it. Like, you know how Snoop Dogg said 1, 2, 1, 2 to the 3 to the 4. Snoopy Dogg coming knocking at your door. That's like me saying 1, 2, 1 to the 3 to the 4 to the 5. Lookville baby is coming to the backside. Like,
gotten the better of Ice Cube during the fight.
You don't think that would be
Cube's chain somehow ended up in Solo's possession.
Came back up, whooped on his ass. Somehow his chain fell in my hand. I don't know how it got in my hand, but it fell in my hand.
Not one to let a moment like that go unnoticed, Solo made his way to a Cypress Hill show at the House of Blues, where he held the chain up for the crowd to see. The audience went wild, and the moment was even captured in a photo that circulated widely at the time. Eventually, the beef was officially squashed, putting an end to one of the more intense rivalries of the era.
All right, I mean, that was that nigga Ice Cube and it's a beef situation. If y'all want to watch some more of that, Chat plus thing. Let me know. Run the views up, run the likes up, subscribe, comment. Wanna roll to 300, and I'm out.